Hi, everyone. Good to see you again. Welcome to A Healthier You After 40. We are here to talk about mini habits for weight loss with Jenny Bailey. Welcome, Jenny.
Hello there, how are you?
Jenny is a certified health coach, and she specializes in helping women over 40 lose weight and keep it off without dieting. How about that, eh? And also, without giving up your favorite foods, doing long, crazy workouts, or counting calories so they can live long and vibrant lives. And she believes that the only wealth is good health. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the truth.
It is. So, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us. I know people are really curious and they want to get the goods on. Give me all the tips. What do I have to do? Because it gets hard, right? It gets hard after
Yes,
40. Things
yes,
change. You've already learned your metabolism slows down, your muscles
yes,
are wasting, and it gets a bit more tricky. So,
yes.
tell us about yourself first, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Okay, well, basically, I've always been interested in health and
Yeah,
wellness.
yeah.
So I've kind of been in and out of the health industry for the past 20 years now. And basically got into it because when I was, goodness, right before I turned 21,
Mhm.
in college. I won't tell you how long ago that was, but trust me, that was a long, long time ago. You know, you cue the drums and everything like that. But anyway, I was a sophomore in college and got a phone call that my dad had died of a heart attack, major heart attack. He was only 52 years old, and we
Wow.
were all stunned,
So
52,
young. Hmm.
because we always think we're going to be around forever and we take
Hmm.
our health for granted.
Absolutely.
And besides causing strife within our own immediate family because
Hmm.
he was gone, and just the sense of loss and the grieving and the anger because he wasn't around anymore for
Hmm.
us, to I was a sophomore, had a younger brother. His first grandbaby was just born.
Yeah.
He was just missing out on everything. So,
Mhm.
that had a really profound effect on me. And I got really serious about, my health.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did not want to be that way. And it grew more pronounced when I held my firstborn.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
You want to be around, right?
want to be around.
Mm.
Would
Mhm.
love to see. Now I have two. Would love to see both of them. And I just want to now help women lose weight
Mhm.
the right way
Yeah.
and keep it off so they can also live longer, vibrant lives and enjoy life as long as possible.
Wonderful. And thank you for sharing that story. I'm sure that there are others out there that can resonate with that. And that is really young. I'm 53, and I just think of that. Oh my gosh, that's definitely a wake up call. And yeah, sometimes people need that. They need that wake up
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm sure people want to know, like, what do you focus on? And I know that it's really big to do try diets, right? You think whatever you're doing is not working, so let's try a diet. We think that's the answer because we are marketed to all the time about all the diets that are supposed to work. Tell us a little bit about that, and why do you believe that diets fail for women?
Yeah. So this is an excellent time of year for you to be doing the summit, by the way,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
everybody's are on their new health and wellness goals, and
Mhm.
usually weight loss is big on that list as we make
Yeah.
our health and wellness goals. When we do our weight loss goals, we never even think about the impact it will have on us later in life. We're not thinking that.
Right.
And then definitely all the new diet books that come out this time of year,
Mhm.
the new improved X diet, the new improved XX diet,
Yeah.
20th edition. you
Yeah.
know,
So true.
it's like,
Yeah. Mhm.
why do they have to keep improving on these diets, by the way, if
Yeah.
they
That's a great question.
supposedly work?
Yep. Yep.
So, mainly, why diets don't work mainly is just the restrictions.
Mhm.
Okay, it's an all or nothing um, premise in
Yeah.
these diets, whether you're
Mhm.
counting calories or you're doing intermittent fasting or you're giving up carbs, or you're going on a high protein. You're always giving up something
Hmm. Yeah.
and then maybe going on to something that you don't really like. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Um, but going back to why diets don't work, there have now been numerous scientific studies out there, Linda, I'm sure you've heard of them,
Hmm.
that show the metabolic impact of
Hmm.
yo-yo
Yeah.
dieting.
Absolutely.
And these studies are out there. The weight loss industry doesn't want you to know about them because
Mhm.
obviously they're going to lose money. And even the bigger threat than that is the food industry doesn't want you to know about them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Our food industry should be dubbed the evil empire. It should be
Mhm.
the opening of the Star Wars movie. We can have, the Death Star.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
explodes with all of the processed foods
Mhm.
that are out there on the shelves. And they keep bringing out more of the processed foods. But basically, back a couple of scientific studies that I wanted to mention real quick is one was in 1986. I found this one fascinating. And it was a study of rats. And yes, I know it was rats, but some of these studies you definitely don't want to do on humans, right? No.
Mhm.
So what they did is they had two groups of rats, and one they had the control group, and then the other, the group that they were restricting the calories. And once those rats got down to their goal weight,
Mhm.
they took the restrictions away.
Okay.
Okay, and said, okay, X got X weight. These rats got their weight, so these rules don't apply anymore. Now, does this sound like how our diet industry works, by
Oh,
the way?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Like, okay, you lost the pounds. Adios, see you.
Yeah.
So when the rats regained the weight they lost, they went ahead and put them on another diet.
Mm.
They wanted to see what the effect was on the rats' metabolisms
Okay.
by putting them on another diet. So they restricted their calories again.
Okay. So we're talking calories, not necessarily foods.
No, calories.
Okay.
This one was purely
Okay.
calories. So they restricted their calories again until they got down to their goal weight. I'm going to put
Mhm.
that in parentheses too, goal weight. And once they got down to that, I think it was like 131 grams again, they saw something pretty peculiar that happened.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, now the weight loss industry will tell you, the diet industry is like, okay, you lost weight again, right?
Mhm.
Therefore, X diet works. Well, what the scientists found was that they lost the weight
Mhm.
2 times slower the second time
Mm.
than the first.
Interesting.
So yeah, so the first time through, let me try to remember. It was like an average, let me see if I have it here. Okay. So it took 21 days. I had to go look at my notes. It took 21 days to lose 131 grams. And the
Mhm.
second time it took 46 days,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting. So,
double the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what had happened is their metabolism slowed.
Yeah.
It's taking them longer to lose the weight. But
Mhm.
even more surprising was how quickly they regained the weight the second time around.
Because their metabolism was slow, right?
Yeah, their
So it was a
metabolism.
longer term
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah. And then I'm sure you're familiar with the Biggest Loser study. That was
Yeah.
kind of the one that really broke out
Yeah.
when they followed the Biggest Loser contestants for like 6 years
Yeah.
and found that all of them regained all the weight they lost.
Mhm.
Okay. And some of them actually, I think two of them were gained more weight.
It's so sad. Yeah.
Uh, And then another interesting study was back in 1944, and this was done on men.
Okay. Which most
So this
studies
was an
are.
actual research study done on men.
Okay.
And I think they were military. So it was back in 1944, and they restricted their calories. And what was interesting about that was for the first 12 weeks of that program, they were
Mhm.
losing like a pound of fat a week. After the 12th week, they were still losing weight, but at a lower rate.
Okay.
So what do we call that in the weight loss industry? They hit their plateau.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody out there is familiar with that, is
Mhm.
plateauing and what happens. Well,
Mhm.
your metabolism always is going to catch up. You can't fool our bodies.
Yes.
You cannot
Yeah.
fool our bodies. Our
That's right.
bodies know. It's kind of like, oh, you're going to feed me X amount of calories. I'm just going to slow your metabolism down so you survive.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they're going to store all of that as fat.
Mhm.
So we now have numerous scientific studies out there that prove that diets don't work.
Mhm.
But yet, I feel that women over 40, it brings you a more complex issue
Yes.
because not only are our metabolisms changing, so are our hormones changing.
Mhm.
So is our lives changing.
Yeah.
Our stress level is
Yes.
different. You
Yeah.
know, we
Mhm.
have kids, some careers. We're moving on to, maybe we're going into an empty nesting part of life.
Mhm.
We're going to perimenopause. We're
Yeah.
going through menopause. So when you throw in all the hormone related issues with women
Mhm.
over 40, it just becomes a lot more complex.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And often women end up at this age, like working out more, depending on what their thing is, either working out or eating less.
Yes.
And then that doesn't work based on
No.
the studies you just shared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so the
yeah,
scientific studies are out there. It proves it. The weight loss industry doesn't want you to know about these studies, and you very rarely hear about
mhm. It's very true. Yeah. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. You rarely hear about them.
them.
Yeah.
And we want to blame, and you're in the hormone industry.
Mhm.
Sometimes we want to blame our hormones too for
Mhm.
losing weight.
True.
It's a whole big process.
Yeah.
It's just just the way your body reacts
Yes.
to change.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that because I think sometimes feel like, oh, I just want to find a reason for my weight loss and it must be my thyroid or it must be my hormones. Cause it's again like our brains like that. They like that answer, that quick fix answer where, oh, if I just fix this, then I can have that.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like how our minds sort of play into our weight loss?
So, so we have like our unconscious mind,
Hmm.
and then we have our conscious mind. So our unconscious mind pretty much controls 40% of what we do and what we think and how we
Right.
feel and how we react. So it's pretty powerful. And our unconscious mind likes to keep us safe.
Hmm.
Okay, so these are unconscious things you're not even aware of
Yeah.
in your own head. So your unconscious mind is always there wanting to keep you safe. So you have your unconscious mind, and sometimes you're just going to go to war with your conscious mind.
Hmm.
So your conscious mind knows, okay, I really shouldn't have that big bag of potato chips.
Hmm.
It knows it's wrong. It knows it's bad.
Okay.
This is bad for me. I'm going to feel like crap after I eat it. But your unconscious mind is like, yeah, but you like to feel safe. Won't you feel safer when you're done eating those chips?
Hmm. So talk to
Won't
us a
you
bit
feel
about that. Because like, so the safety is about what it's used to, like just tapping into like a familiar behavior. Is that what that
yes,
safety is? Yeah.
yes. Yeah, your unconscious mind, it craves security.
Hmm.
It craves routines.
Yeah. Okay.
It craves anything that's going to, keep you safe, stable, and in
Yeah.
your place.
Okay.
It doesn't like change.
Right.
And that's just the way we are wired.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, we are wired to be safe, stay safe, and do the easy thing.
Yeah.
And do
Okay.
the easy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
And on top of that, because when you go to the store, when anything, we're just pounded with processed food.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
just and we don't know what to believe when we look at these.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to save time when we do things. We want to save money, those kind of things. So when we see, another new diet food or
Mhm.
another new low fat this or low carb this, or
Mhm.
our mind is always like, well, maybe I'll just try that.
Yeah, it's very
And,
true. Yeah. Because
yeah,
we like, depending on that generation you grew up in, you were hit with certain messaging. Like for my generation, it was all about like fat, low fat, low fat, low fat. And so those labels, they kind of shout out. If you're not aware of that belief system that was like ingrained into your brain at a younger age, you don't catch yourself doing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you got rid of a whole, you know, food group because of that. You just
Right.
stayed away from fats,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Which made everyone depressed and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
which had a whole range of consequences there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so our unconscious mind is always going to be triggered to do the safe thing.
Okay.
Okay, your conscious mind kind of knows, it does know, okay, I shouldn't eat that. I should really go take a walk.
Hmm.
But you know what? The TV's beckoning.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
Mhm.
Yellowstone's coming on,
I hear that's good. I have to
Yeah,
check that
Yellow
out.
or whatever your favorite show is
Yeah.
coming on in a few minutes, and I think I'd rather watch that. It's nice and warm in the house. I
Yeah.
think I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
And it's nice and warm. Or I'll just stay under these covers instead of get out of bed and go work out.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
it's like a little baby somehow sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Just hold me and stroke me, and then everything
Yeah.
is better. But it's really not.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I'm sure a lot of people can relate because it's like the thing where you come home from work and you've like worked so hard and you're tired and you've done a million things and then you're like, oh, now it's just time for
Yeah.
me, like
Yeah.
relax. And so we sort of justify
Yes.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Weight loss is hard.
It is. Takes work, doesn't it? Yeah.
Takes work.
Okay. So what is it? I'm sure people are like, give me the goods. What is a better way then? What are some things that people can do to kind of get around that thinking?
Yeah. So, what I teach and my method for helping women over 40 lose weight
Mhm.
is, losing that weight is definitely going to help to start getting your hormones balanced out, um, dealing with symptoms in your menopause, perimenopause
Mhm.
things, because everything that affects your hormones pretty much has to do with what you're eating.
Right. Yeah.
But none of us want, as I just explained to you, our unconscious mind doesn't want us to give up all processed foods, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
I
true.
just don't think that's humanly possible.
Yeah. No, it's
You know?
true. It is impossible.
It is
Yeah.
not, it's impossible to give
Yeah.
up processed foods. It's not healthy to give up a certain food group, nor, in my opinion, is it healthy to just eat a big portion of one certain food group.
Hmm.
Say like a bunch of protein,
Right.
you know, eh,
Yeah.
by sacrificing other things that are
Yeah.
still good for you on that list.
Yeah.
So I believe in just setting, and it's a longer process, but setting mini habits.
Okay.
Mini habits. So you set
Okay.
your goals and you have your weight loss goals and how much you want to lose. And then you
Hmm.
definitely have to attach a strong why to your goals, because if
Yes.
you have a strong why,
Yeah.
you're definitely not going you're definitely going to make it harder to achieve
Yeah.
that goal. It's easier to give up a goal with a weak why. It's
Yes.
harder to
Very
give
true.
up a goal with a strong why.
Hmm.
Um, and
And
then
imagine that why can be positive or negative. Like it could be like, I don't want to die, or it
yes,
can be like, I want to look like I want to climb mountains, or
yes,
depending on your brain, you're going to be drawn to one or the other or both, maybe. But
yes,
it's figuring out what that is.
yeah,
And yeah, circling
definitely.
back to that. No, I think that's a great tip.
Yeah. So like the power of visioning, to
Yeah.
how you are going to feel when you
Okay.
achieve that goal too. So it's
Right.
definitely holding on to the whys and holding on to how you're feeling. And then coming up with a list of all of the habits. Notice I'm not saying changes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Notice I'm not saying
Right.
giving up.
Yes.
What we're
Okay.
doing is we're identifying habits
Hmm.
that will help us
Okay.
lose weight.
Yeah.
So, for example, there are a ton of things to start on to lose weight, right?
Okay.
But
Mhm.
we can't do them all in 1 month.
Right.
We
So
can't exercise 5 times a week. We
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
meal prep all our meals, on a Sunday. I mean,
Mhm.
we can't, okay, I'm gonna go to bed at X amount of time tonight.
Okay.
And, oh, I'm gonna go remove all my processed foods
Mhm.
out of the pantry, and then your kid comes in and says, "Hey, where is my XX?" Oh, no, and then in a fight
Yeah.
ensues, whatever.
No,
So
very
you
true.
can't, yeah, and I think a lot of people go into it with this all or nothing.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah. And then, yeah, when it's so overwhelming, you're just not going to do anything. It's just like, yeah. Or you
Yeah,
fail. And it's funny that you said this is really good timing for a summit because I actually planned this purposely because it's at the end of January and people who think diets work, it will pretty much right around now be realizing that they don't work because it's a month into the year.
right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so
that's too
we'll,
hard.
we'll do Jenny's habits instead,
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
now. Yeah.
So, yeah, so definitely setting some mini habits. So, for example,
Okay.
when I'm working with a client and we'll talk about, water intake, what do you
Okay.
typically eat during the day, blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying, okay, I want you to drink, 80 ounces of water.
Okay.
And I will have people like look at me, 80 ounces of water
Right.
and they'll look at me like, does it have to be water? Could
Okay.
I have this or this or this?
Okay.
And so I was like realizing, okay, so their unconscious mind is talking to them. Okay, you see
Oh.
what's happening? Their unconscious
Hmm.
mind is talking to them and
Okay.
already telling them, hey, you can't do this. And what about, and then whatever they like to drink, coffee,
Right.
soda, whatever it is. I mean, the unconscious mind has already kicked in, just by
Interesting.
that one question.
Okay. Huh.
you know and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so instead of doing your 80 8 cups of water a day, why don't we just start with a cup of water upon rising from
Right.
bed? Just
Good.
it, that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for exercising, say for example they've never exercised or they hate to exercise,
Hmm.
all right, 10-minute walk around the
Yeah.
block. Surely you can do 10-minute
Yeah.
around the block. But
Exactly.
what do I have to wear? Here comes the unconscious mind again. Tell you what,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Put
Yeah.
on your
Interesting.
comfortable pair of shoes, just go
Okay.
walk for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we'll do for 1 month. And so what I see typically happens, and then we'll set another few habits the next month. And so we're kind
Yeah.
of like stacking on habits from month to
Okay.
month to month.
Yeah.
So what typically happens is because you are not triggering that unconscious mind anymore, because you're
Hmm.
just drinking a glass of water or you're out walking.
Hmm.
Well, all of a sudden you're walking and it's like, well, I could probably walk
Yeah.
a little bit longer today.
So true.
I
Yeah.
could probably have another glass of water. That wasn't too bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So these are things. Now what happens is you're not losing weight as fast as you wanted,
Hmm.
but you're probably not gaining
Yeah. And it's a
either.
good habit that you've now established. Yeah.
Right. You've now established.
Okay.
And I don't like to install on them, a ton of habits in the
Hmm.
first month because I just feel like it's overwhelming.
Right.
That, I think it's overwhelming to give up just going cold turkey on chocolate,
It
or
is. Yeah.
anything that's your favorite thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not giving up anything, you're just
Hmm.
adding some things in. You're adding
Hmm.
those healthy habits in.
Hmm.
And, then we'll work, definitely the mindset work. But I
Hmm.
just think that many habits, and then we just add. So
Okay.
month one, it might be these 2 mini habits. Month
Hmm.
2, we're gonna put in another habit.
Okay.
Month 3 is another mini habit. So we just wanna make sure that we are never triggering the unconscious mind, and here's where that mindset work comes in.
Hmm.
Never wanna trigger we do not want the unconscious mind to know what in the world we're doing.
Right. That's really good. So here's where my head's going is like, what about that type A who's like, I like going big. I like to do changes really fast. What would you say to that type A out there? Because,
So for the type A, we kind of sit down and we work on their goals and their whys and what can you, sustainably, do this month
okay,
on top of everything else
yeah,
you have to do,
okay. Hmm.
and if they want a few extra mini habits, we'll throw some of them in. So
Okay.
if they want more, type A's always like to have like a written plan out for them. Okay, just write
Hmm.
me something. So sometimes if I just write it down,
Hmm.
they're fine and they go with it.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll do some extra things with them
Okay. That's
if
great.
they're ready and they're organized and disciplined enough,
Yeah.
then definitely we can definitely take that.
Yeah. No, I love that. So you mentioned the word discipline. I want to talk about that a little bit. So, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not disciplined, just not disciplined enough. I can't do it. So, what would you say to someone around just the whole concept of discipline and motivation? Like, is there a difference?
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, motivation is interesting
Yeah.
because when you're motivated, you're kind of set up on that reward system.
Yeah.
The only time we get motivated is if we're anticipating a reward.
Hmm.
And I think that the reward in weight loss is just the many habits you're setting and the healthy habits that are coming in, and you're feeling better because you're
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah.
What I would say about discipline is if you screw up one day on a
Mhm.
mini habit, let's just say, and you didn't drink that glass of water,
Yeah.
you didn't take your 10 minute. I mean, what does that make you a horrible person? Does
Hmm.
that make you a failure?
Yeah. Right. So it's
No.
getting rid of that all or nothing
Yeah,
thinking.
just
Yeah.
because you didn't check the box
Yeah.
that day, does that mean you should just throw in the towel and give everything up?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, that's where the discipline comes in as being more forgiving on
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. And
You're
just get right back to it sort of the next day,
yeah,
or the next meal, or
yeah,
yeah.
because you don't want to whip yourself
Hmm.
growing up. I mean, Lord knows how much we beat up ourselves
Oh my
anyway.
gosh. Yeah. The mean girl talk is yeah.
Yeah. So I think the discipline kind of comes in where you're having the discipline to be nice to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Can you
agree.
forgive yourself for
Yeah. Yeah.
not doing that thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So you've mentioned some really good habits. So even just like easy ones like water drinking and walking for 10 minutes a day. Any other habits you'd like to share with everyone?
So, okay, so yeah, we can always for weight loss, there's always a ton of habits, right?
Mm.
So, what few that I'll just throw out there is try to eat one meal a day with no distractions,
Oh,
no
that's
TV,
fantastic. Yeah.
no TV,
Yeah.
no phone, no, not even any music, not even a podcast.
I love that. Oh my
You
gosh. Yeah, that's
know,
so good. It's so
just
true. Yeah.
one meal, a day
Mhm.
without any kind of distractions.
Okay.
Because you will definitely, especially if you're eating a meal in front of a TV,
Hmm.
it's you'll be amazed how you look down at your meal. It's gone, it's done.
Yeah.
You don't even know what the heck you ate, and you don't
Yeah.
even feel full.
Yeah. Because it's usually fast eating or,
Yeah,
yeah, not, yeah, with zero awareness.
right.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great tip. Yeah.
Sleeping would be a definitely big up there. So
Hmm.
trying to create an environment where
Hmm.
you can sleep better.
Yeah.
So, again, we're going back to the turning off everything,
Right.
getting into bed, make sure in your room is dark. Just depending if you have a hard time falling asleep.
Right.
But if you can just move your bedtime up
Okay. Yeah.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
because that definitely there's you want to talk about studies again, there's definitely a ton of studies out there that the more sleep deprived you are,
Yeah.
it also has an effect on your metabolism and how
Okay.
fast and that's with cortisol, the stress
Yeah.
hormone, because you just never give your cortisol levels,
Hmm.
you don't give them a chance to come down if you're not
Hmm.
properly rested.
Yeah. And I know a lot of women too also struggle with like wanting to snack at night, later into the night. And so just go to bed, just go to bed earlier, and then you're going to be less likely to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So, but if you're like, if your tummy is really growling though,
mhm.
I would probably have to talk with that woman and say, okay, what did you have to eat during the
Yeah.
day? Is there somewhere where we can alter something so you're
Mhm.
not being so hungry at
Yes, that's a great point.
so but my husband always has his favorite little thing. Sometimes we have to do like our significant others, we just have to ignore them. And he goes, that's just a sign to me that I'm burning calories
But what is?
when your stomach's growling. And
Oh,
I just look at him.
oh, I've never heard that. Okay.
I
I love it.
know.
That's really funny.
I know. So in other words, what was motivating to him is definitely not motivating to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, no, my stomach's really growling. So yeah, I usually will just have a talk with them and find out,
Yeah.
okay, there's somewhere we could, change out what you're eating during the day because we don't want to go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
Other easy habits you can do is eating one more vegetable a day,
Okay.
one fruit a day.
Yeah.
So if you are substituting some healthy stuff, that's you're more inclined not to eat the unhealthy stuff.
Mhm.
Meal prep is big for weight loss. So how about just
Mhm.
starting out at meal prepping one meal a week
Okay.
versus trying to do all of them?
That's great.
And then working up from there, one to two. Another one would definitely be adding in strength training.
Okay. Yeah.
Adding in
Yeah.
a few strength training workouts per week.
Mhm.
Um, Another one is would definitely always go through a pantry clean out
Good.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to eliminate any of those um, foods in your pantry that have, like 10 ingredients or more,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Those would be, mini habits. That's actually one more to prepare, but it does get you in the habit of checking food labels,
Yeah.
which is why I
Yeah.
like that one.
Very true.
Yeah. So when you're in the grocery store, you kind of, know what to look for
Yeah.
and avoid.
No, I like that because I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that yes, eat more real food, but it's impossible to be perfect with that. It just is. And so knowing how to find good processed foods is
Mhm.
important in our world today because we're never going to be perfect. And so I like that message. I think that's a really great message. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, those are really great habits. And I'm sure that everyone right now, one of those habits is calling out to you. And so, like any talk, that's all this is about. Like, just like pay attention to what is resonating with you, like right now. Like, what did you need to hear? Those are amazing tips, Jenny. Thank you so much for sharing. Can you tell us a little bit about your freebie? I'm sure everyone's going to want to grab it and let us know where everyone can find you.
Okay, so my freebie is fast and easy meal prep recipes.
Oh,
So just this
nice.
time of year, we
Okay.
always are looking for something that is easy and delicious to make. And so I thought this would be a perfect gift for everybody, all you people that are tuning in today.
Great.
Probably want some nice, and they're delicious. They're easy to make, and what I love about it is it also includes some ideas for high protein snack boxes.
Nice. Oh, perfect.
Whenever you're craving that, afternoon sweet, you
Yeah.
will already have something made up, super easy
Mm.
that will combine protein in nice proportion to carbs. And
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
yeah.
And where do you hang out most? Where can people find you?
So I have a Facebook group called
Okay.
the Vibrant Women Club. So you
Okay.
can also request to join my club, my Facebook group. I'm on Instagram at Baby Boomer Queen. And that's
Awesome.
at Baby Boomer Queen.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jenny. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, thanks so much for sharing.
Thanks for
We'll
having
see
me.
everyone else back in the Facebook group. Chat soon.